It's a Book Palate Tag. It was created by Fraser Simons over at Springboard Thoughts. Fraser is a relatively new booktuber who is making big waves like some sort of moon tidal tsunami thing. We were tagged by... Who tagged us? I have a list. I am so senile I don't remember anymore. We were tagged by the wonderful Bob the Bookerer and Kim in the middle of the bookmark.
So we're doing the tag. And we're going to tag up front because we like to shout out our friends.
So, yeah, don't be a fuddy-duddy because, you know...
Who are we tagging? Can we tag, say, Kevy?
Yes, we can tag Kevy.
I want to tag Amy.
Booktube with Amy. I'm so excited that Amy is back and on Booktube. If
pump up the jam.
Are a fan, go and check her out. And if you don't know who she is...
Go and check her out.
No, I'm not.
You're not going to tag anyone. I'm going to tag Remembered Reads and Rosie Cockshut. I don't know if any of you have done this already because I'm crap at that. But those are people I love. So get on it.
You love them?
Yeah.
Okay, question 1. Sweet. What is a book that made you excited to read more by that author?
Kindred. Also Freshwater.
Yeah.
Daryl.
Oh, I can't wait for new books by Jackie S to come out.
Yeah.
I tell you, I was just going to say, look, you know, I remember falling in love with Thomas Hardy the first time, but recently, just in the last week, I have looked up, Tish Delaney has 2 new books coming out next year.
Woohoo!
And the second book is called, because the first book was called Before My Actual Heart Breaks, which sounds like a very uplifting book. And her third book out will be called All the Tears I've Ever Cried. Is that not a perfect title?
Yeah.
So that's one that I'm looking forward to next year. Just so many good... I think that this is an entire video...
Of things I want to read that aren't out yet.
Books that are coming in 2022 that we want to read. Sour. What book did you initially dislike, but after a reread, you revised your opinion? Or what book did you initially love, and then after a reread, found it lacking in some way?
I don't reread books that I don't like, because that is... some kind of weird self-torture that I'm just not interested in.
I do, and my answer is Wuthering Heights.
Yeah, but that's because you were wrong about not liking Wuthering Heights in the first instance.
I don't think I am wrong about not liking Wuthering Heights. I don't think anybody is wrong about not liking Wuthering Heights or liking Wuthering Heights. It is a... What's that? What's the look? It's a weird book. It's got so much unreliableness in the narration that you don't know who's lying to you.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I know, but it's very confusing, and she has reused character names.
Just to upset people like Scott.
There's literary points to all of these things. None of them were the reason I hated Wuthering Heights the first time.
And a book that I have reread and it sucked more on the second time.
I don't really have that experience. I generally like books much more the second time I read them.
Yeah, I can't think of a time.
The only book that has gotten worse on a reread for me is one of my all-time favourite books. And I still thought it was bloody amazing. And it's Middlemarch.
And you thought it was slightly less amazing on the second, yeah.
That's it. I rated Middlemarch 7 stars the first time I read it, and I only gave it 6 the second time. Bitter. What is a book that you feel is underrated, attacked unjustly by popular or mainstream opinion, or is simply misunderstood in some way? And I would have to say the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx. Never has a political theory been more misrepresented or misunderstood than communism.
Misapplied.
Actually, I say that and then I immediately think, well, socialism, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously, nobody understands what socialism is except for people who consider themselves socialists. Because if you don't consider yourself a socialist, you don't understand it.
Oh, you're an arsehole.
Or you're an arsehole. They are the 2 options. Wow, watch us lose substance.
Sorry. You don't have compassion, then you're an arsehole.
So, when you get sick, you don't want somebody to look after you? That's socialism.
Yeah. I'm gonna say... No one is talking about this, but Patricia Lockwood.
Ooh, there's a lot of opinions out there about
that
book.
And 50% of them are wrong.
That is a book that got better when I reread it, and I only reread it because you were listening to the audiobook and I kind of got sucked in.
So good. It was so good. And I think far too much attention is paid to the first half of the book, which is just set up.
The change in tone, the infamous change in tone.
Ooh, like, we meet our characters and the sort of environment is established and then the thing happens. Yeah, that's how a novel progresses. That's not a weird structure.
I don't think the tone changes when the things happen.
No, I think the central character changes when the thing happens. And, no shit.
It's character development.
Yeah, I think it's an incredibly thought-provoking, it's an emotional book. It is a book where the internet is the setting and it's written by someone who's actually been there.
Don't read it with a full bladder because you will piss yourself laughing.
There's definitely some funny, but also, I sobbed my little eyes out. So anyone who's... I just think you're all wrong. You're all wrong. I'm so bitter about how wrong people are on that one, actually. I'm never one of those people who are like, I can't believe you don't like my favourite book. But I legitimately can't believe you don't like my favourite book. What? I've seen more than one person say, I don't relate to it. You don't relate to it?
What about the transient nature of the memes that are in the novel?
No, that's not what the novel is about. And I get that that's it's a thing and there's mental games to play with those things and that's great. But the centre of this novel is the tragic occurrence. And if you can't relate to having a tragic occurrence in your family, to exploring loss in an isolated group of people that the rest of the world is not acknowledging because it's not their shit, then you're either a very lucky human being that has never suffered loss, or what are you doing? I don't relate to it.
We've just said in the space of 2 questions, if you're not a socialist, you're an arsehole.
And if you've never suffered loss, you're an arsehole. Sorry.
If you don't like Patricia Lockwood's No One Is Talking About It, you're an arsehole. And we wonder why we're not yet monetized.
Well, I don't wonder.
Yeah, this wasn't even a political video. What have we done? This is just who we are. Salty, what is a book that changed how you thought about or related to other people or made you realise something about yourself that you were not aware of previously? Bonus point, if you choose multiple books from whatever milestone in your life you feel most important to you.
I'm just going to do one because I'm lazy. The Watchmaker of Filigree Street. The romance in that I did not see coming made me realise that I am a bitch. No, it's not the word I'm looking for, a shit person. That I am guilty of ignoring people who aren't like me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretending they're not a thing.
It's really hard for you to actually go into detail without spoiling that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying not to not that it should be a spoiler, but some people will think it is, so I'm trying not to say it.
Well, I certainly thought the reveal was a little bit of a whoa moment that...
if you go back and read it, it's totally not. It's signposted big flashing lights, and I just didn't see it because of my own presuppositions.
For me, the book for me is Detransition Baby by Tori Peters.
Ooh!
At the start of this year, my opinion about trans people, and this is still basically my opinion, but is whatever you want your gender to be doesn't affect me. I don't give a damn. I don't care, right?
Mm.
But when I was reading that book, I was like, wait, how does my sexuality change with somebody's gender? And I'd never considered whether I was even attracted to trans women because I was like, I'm straight and trans is an LGBT thing. And
yeah, okay.
And the whole thing of, but the idea that we're in a relationship and if tomorrow you said I'm going to transition to be a man, now I would have to be pretty bloody blind to our relationship to not see that coming, but that would change my sexuality is mind-blowing. And then it the whole thing just made me question what the hell is sexuality. And I really loved that way that it fucked with my head.
Yeah.
And I suspect that if I was a horrible and more aggressive person, that I would not have enjoyed that experience, and that's probably where trans hate comes from. But
well, I think the unwillingness to explore and answer those questions within yourself is where a lot of the fear comes from. And I think that people who are unwilling to examine their own gender and their own sexuality are much more likely to have difficulty with other people's.
So anyway, that was the book that really sort of foisted the trans identity on me.
Which is good.
Sorry, there are 4 optional prompts at the end of this, and we're just going to do the last one, which is a maturing palette. Oh, what does that say about us?
I'm not maturing.
Yeah.
Ever.
We just called people assholes this whole video. What is a genre you've read little or none of, but would like to sample more? What book, if any, prompted this? I have a little project that I would like to do next year, and I would like everybody watching this to help if they can. I really like character-focused novels, and I gravitate towards literary fiction because literary fiction is often character-focused and it does that well. But I have not really explored genre fiction, and I would really like to explore thriller, romance, and science fiction as my 3 genres. But I would like them to be character-focused books. But I don't really know those genres too much, so if you're watching this, thrillers, romance, science fiction, character-focused novels, whack your recommendations
In the commentary. I would like to read more non-fiction that isn't memoir. Basically all of the non-fiction that I read is memoir, and I would like to read some different stuff.
That's the end of the tag.
Pew pew!
Bye.